I lent out $20,000 and nearly lost it. Spoiler alert, I got paid back with interest, and here are 7 tips that were mistakes that I'll never make again and things that I did right that I'll always do in the future. What's up, y'all? My name is Jay Helms. I am the founder of the W2 Capitalist. I just went full cycle on my very first private money loan where I was the lender. And in order to get my money back, I did have to consult with an attorney and employ some tactics I never even thought about. So I want to thank you to the members of the W2 Capitalist Mastermind for those tactics. So in today's episode, I'm going to give you a few tips on what to look for when making your first private money loan and a few tricks to use when your borrower starts ghosting you and runs the risk of never paying you back. Disclaimer, before we go any further, I need to give you this disclaimer. I am not an attorney, and all content in this episode and any episode of the W2 Capitalist podcast should be considered for entertainment purposes only. If you find yourself in a similar situation as I'm about to explain, do yourself a favor and consult an attorney. Tip number 1, always make sure that is a secured note by an asset. In the private money lending space, actually just in the lending space, there are unsecured and secured loans, right? Or unsecured and secured notes. I will never, and I absolutely mean never, do another unsecured loan. I very rarely talk in absolutes, but if this scenario has taught me anything, it's to never loan on an unsecured note. Having a secured loan just means that your loan is backed by something, right? This could be a vehicle. This could be a piece of equipment. This could be someone's personal residence, right? Preferably, you want what's securing your note to be a piece of real estate, right? Where you are in the first lien position. In your personal residence, if you own it, right, or you have a mortgage from the bank is in first lien position, meaning that if you don't pay your mortgage payment every month, the bank can foreclose on you, they can kick you out, and they can gain possession of the property. When you hear unsecured, think about there is absolutely no guarantee that you'll ever get your money back, right? It's extremely risky. Be sure that juice is going to be worth the squeeze, right? Knowing who or what is going to guarantee or secure your loan is huge, absolutely huge, which leads me to tip number 2, right? So tip number 2, do your due diligence on the potential borrower. I do not care how well you think you know this person. At minimum, you're going to have them complete a background or credit report check for you, right? I've actually started my second private money loan since this whole mishap of maybe possibly not getting my money back. And I used mysmartmove.com, hashtag not sponsored, to complete the background and credit checks. And I just love how the system works. Basically, you send your potential lender a link. They're going to fill out all the necessary info, right? They pay the $40 application fee. And then on the back end, you get the report, right? You get to see what's going on with them financially, credit-wise, and all that good stuff, right? So bonus tip. This is bonus tip for tip number 2, right? Don't loan to an entity. Don't loan to an LLC, an S Corp, anything like that. My lawyer warned me that if I press the individual too hard, right? He's not paying, he's not ghosting. I'm starting to get aggressive at trying to get him to communicate with me and trying to figure out what's going on. If you push him too hard, chances are what he's going to do, if he's smart about this, he will dissolve that LLC that you have a loan to or file bankruptcy for that LLC. There will be little to nothing I could do about getting my money back. And if you're going to loan to an LLC, if you're choosing to forego my warning here, right, ensure that that entity is an actual active business. This is something I did not do, and is in good standing with the Secretary of State. You can research these business records just by Googling your state name with the phrase Secretary of State. All right, so tip number 3, communicate with your borrower and communicate with them often, right? If they start missing payments and getting behind, send them certified letters by the U.S. Post Office, right? You'll have tracking. Number 1, you'll have tracking to make sure it's delivered. The second part is they actually have to sign for it. And once they sign for it, you get the card back saying, hey, they signed for the letter you sent them. And that is proof that they received it. They cannot claim that they got lost in the mail, right? And if you're being ghosted by the numerous phone calls, text, emails, a certified letter like this one right here is a great play. And in my case, as you can see by these yellow stickers here, these are return to sender stickers from the U.S. Post Office, right? My borrower actually moved addresses without telling me And when those stickers came back, one of the things that I could figure out is where he was having his mail forwarded to. By the way, they're super cheap. This one cost me $6.40 to send. Tip number 4, skip tracing. As real estate investors, we use skip tracing to find homeowner contact info all the time, right? And in my case, my borrower had moved and I did not have this back yet. I needed to be able to contact somebody that had his updated info. His previous landlord has to have some forwarding information and whatnot. I script traced his landlord to find his landlord's contact info, right? I had hoped this tactic would produce some results, right? One of the things it produced for me, it made me realize just how urgent I needed to be on trying to get my money back. This landlord used lines like, good luck, get in line. And if I had a nickel for every time somebody called looking for my John Doe, right, for my borrower, I use PROPSTREAM for skip tracing to find the landlord's information. Hashtag they are a sponsor of the W2 Capitalist podcast. And a link to gain a 7-day free trial to use PROPSTREAM will be in the show notes and descriptions. But skip tracing the landlord's contact information cost me $0.10. Tip number 5, dealing with ghosting. What I mean by ghosting is when your borrower does not respond, right? You don't get an answer from your borrower after you've texted, called, emailed, or a response to a certified letter, right? It gets returned to you because they moved for whatever reason. Again, a huge thanks to the members of the W2 Capitalist Mastermind for giving me these ideas. So let's get into those, right? So trick number 1 in dealing with ghosting, certified letters, right? Trick number 2 that actually produced some results was to send video messages, right? I said the exact same thing that I was planning to over text, but I did it in video format so that my borrower can see, he can feel, and he can understand the tone that I was using. It was very effective, very effective. I suggest when you do this, be aggressive, but do not be threatening. You don't want anything coming back to you from a legal standpoint that says you're a threatening individual, right? Trick number 3 in dealing with ghosting, chances are you are already connected with your borrower on social media. If not, you should be connecting with your borrowers on social media prior to lending them money. What I did when this borrower started ghosting me, I reached out to those mutual connections with a message someone like this. Hey, I see we're mutually connected to John Doe. Rumor has it, John owes a bunch of people money and I can't get him on the phone. Have you talked to him lately? And most of them had not talked to him. But I would respond with, well, if you do talk to him, can you let him know that I'm worried about him and to ask him to give me a call? Now, I sent somewhere close to 70 messages like this and it produced. Tip number 6, right? If you do have to hire an attorney, I started this video out saying that I had to hire an attorney and consult with an attorney. Provide that attorney your borrower's name or the entity name to ensure that there is no conflict of interest for that attorney. The last thing you want to do is divulge all the gory details to this attorney to find out that your borrower or your entity already has them on retainer. Now they know your side of the story. They know what angle you're going to come from, and there's nothing you can do about it. I get that folks who need money can be aggressive, but if someone who wants to borrow from you is texting you more times in a day than a stage 5 clinger, chances are they are super desperate, and this should be a huge red flag. It's a huge warning message. And tip number 7, trust your gut. Something didn't feel right about executing this loan the day the borrower showed up at my house to sign the paperwork. I was outside, I was playing with my kids, and everything from his walk up the driveway, his body language throughout our conversation, and his eyes were just being somewhat very shifty, just told me, my gut was telling me at that moment, I should not do this deal and that I should walk away. I didn't listen to that, obviously, and I believe it's because I followed these tactics that it all worked out. And if you're interested to learn more about the W2 Capitalist Mastermind, there's a link in the show notes below. You can check us out at w2capitalist.com/mastermind. If you want to learn how to crush it in real estate investing as a newbie, check out this video where I interview Mike Beasley, one of our newest members of our mastermind, about how he uses the accountability of our group to take action and get moving with his portfolio. I'll see you over there.